Today we are going to study about the effects of electrical current. What do you mean by this effects of electrical current? Electrical energy can get converted into some other form of energy. For example, electrical energy can get converted into heat energy, or electrical energy can get converted into magnetic energy. So if electrical energy is converted into heat energy, then it is called to be heating effect of electrical current, or it is taken to be thermal effect of electrical current. Both are same. Then the next one, magnetic effect. If you are converting electrical energy to magnetic energy, then we are calling it out as magnetic effect of electrical current. In this, we are going to study about thermal effect of electrical current in this chapter and magnetic effect of electrical current in the forthcoming chapter. So let us consider the heating effect of electrical current or the thermal effect of electrical current. In order to study that, you consider a conductor which is having a resistance R. Now, the ends of the conductor is applied with a potential difference of V volt. Due to the potential difference connected in between the two ends of the conductor, a current of I amperes is flowing through it. When the current of I ampere is flowing through it, the resistance of that conductor offers some opposition or resistiveness for the flow of electrical current. That resistiveness for the flow of electrical current will be given out in the form of heat energy, or we can say, in order to make the current to flow from one end to another end, overcoming the resistance, a work has to be done, or an energy has to be spent. That work done or the energy spent is converted into heat energy and it is liberated out. So that we are calling it out as heating effect of electrical current. The heat energy developed in the conductor due to the supply of electrical current is called to be the heating effect of electrical current, or otherwise it is called to be thermoelectric effect. So in this case, electrical energy is converted into heat energy. You may get a doubt, is it possible to convert heat energy to electrical energy? Is it possible to convert heat energy to electrical energy? That is reverse effect of thermal condition, reverse condition of thermal effect of electrical current or electrical effect. That is called to be thermoelectric effect. You can convert heat energy into electrical energy. That is called to be thermoelectric effect. In the forthcoming lesson, in this lesson, in the remaining part, we will be studying about that. When you are considering thermoelectric effect, we are having three types called to be Seebeck effect, Peltier effect, Thomson effect. We will be studying in the last part of this lesson. Now, let us consider the thermal effect or heating effect of electrical current. So the thermal effect or the heating effect of electrical current, again, I am considering the same concept. I have taken a conductor. The resistance of the conductor is taken to be R. The two ends of the conductor is connected to a potential difference so that a current is flowing through this conductor. When the current is flowing through this conductor, the flow of electrical current is opposed by the resistance available in this conductor. To overcome the resistance by the current, some energy is utilized or spent out. That work done or the energy spent is liberated out in the form of heat energy. Now, what is the work done by the current in order to overcome the resistiveness in the circuit? That work done is given by the formula. Work done is equal to power into time. As we know, the electrical power is voltage into current. I have written it as V into I into T. This work done, already I have told, this work done is in overcoming the resistance in the circuit is liberated out in the form of heat energy. So we can write, in the absence of any other external resistance in the conductor, I have taken only the conductor, no other external resistance is connected. So in the absence of external resistors, the potential energy spent or the work done in overcoming the resistance is given out or is liberated out in the form of heat energy. So I have written the work done is equal to the heat energy developed, which is equal to V into I into T. But for a given resistor, I can write the potential difference across the resistor as P is equal to I into R, according to what? According to the Ohm's law. So substituting in the above equation, I can get H is equal to I into R into I into T. On multiplying, I can get the amount of heat energy developed in the conductor is H is equal to I square into R into T. So this equation is giving you the amount of heat energy developed, and it is stated as Joule's law of heating. This equation is a law which is stating the Joule's law of heating. So how you can able to define Joule's law then? From this above concept, we can say the Joule's law can be stated that for a given resistor and for a time of flow constant, or by keeping R and T constant, the amount of heat energy developed is directly proportional to square of the current. Keeping the resistance R and the time T as constants. Adhe madri, at the point, the amount of heat energy is directly proportional to resistance. Now, keeping the current flowing through and the time of flow of the current in the conductor as constant. And the third one, the amount of heat energy is directly proportional to time for which the current is flowing through the conductor. So in this case, we have to keep the current I and the resistance R as a constant. So in the Joule's law, you are having three variables: current, resistance, and time. If one of the variable is varied, the other two should be kept constant. So this we are stating it out as the Joule's law of heating. Hope you should have understood. So the problem number, example problem 2.27, available in page number 112. In that problem, you are asked to calculate the heat energy when a current of 5 ampere flows for a time of 5 minutes through a resistance of 10 ohm. So you convert this 5 minutes into seconds. So 5 into 60 seconds, that is 300 seconds as the value. So what is the amount of heat energy developed? We have studied now. Heat energy developed is given by the formula I square into R into T. On substituting, 5 square is 25. Resistance R is 10. Time taken 3 is 300. So 25 into 3, I can write it out as 75 with the 3 zeros into 10 to the power of 3 joule. Or I can write it out as 75 kilojoule as the amount of heat energy that was being developed. So a simple concept and a simple problem. Okay. Applications of thermal effect of electrical current, but in your book, it was being heading given as applications of Joule's heating effect. See, they have discussed about 4 applications given as electrical heaters, electrical fuses, electrical furnace, and electrical bulbs. In all these 4 cases, electrical energy is converted into heat energy or thermal energy. So let us first of all consider about the electrical heaters. The electrical heaters that we are seeing or that we are using in our day-to-day life are electric iron, electric toaster, electric heater, etc. In all these electrical domestic appliances, Joule's law of heating forms the basic principle. When I am supplying electrical current through this heating devices like electrical iron, electrical toaster, electrical heater, etc., that electrical energy is converted into desirable heat energy. Desirable heat energy means the amount of heat energy that I am in need of. So in these devices where this heat energy is developed, so in these heating devices, the heat energy or thermal energy is developed in a part of the devices where we are calling or where we are having a coil of wire called to be heating element. That coil of wire or the heating element is made up of an alloy called to be nichrome, an alloy of nickel and chromium. So almost in all heating devices like electrical heater, electrical toaster or electrical iron, the nichrome coil is producing the useful amount of heat energy. When I am considering that nichrome coil, that is the heating element, it is having high resistivity and it is not easily oxidized. Since it is having high resistivity, that coil can able to produce a very large amount of temperature. So a large amount of heat energy can be developed in the electrical devices with the help of the wire called to be nichrome coil or a nichrome wire. Since it is highly polished, it won't get, because nichrome is highly polished. Since it is highly polished, it won't get oxidized easily. Then let us go for the second application. When you are considering the second application, we have to consider it as electric fuses. Commercially, that electrical fuses are called to be safety fuses. They are used for the safetiness of a device in order to avoid short circuiting or in order to avoid the flow of excess current through a device. We are using these fuses. These fuses are nothing but a short wire which is connected in series with the device. When you are with an electrical circuit, when you are considering that fuse wire, the fuse wire is made up of an alloy of tin and lead. Tin 63% and lead 27% combined together, you are able to get an alloy, and that alloy we are calling it out as the fuse wire. That fuse wire is having a high resistivity but having a very low melting point. See, when you are considering a current in an electrical circuit, and if the current exceeds the specific value, then the fuse wire will get heated up. Due to the low melting point, the large amount of heat developed melts that wire and the circuit gets broken. When the circuit is get disconnected from the electrical circuit, automatically the device will be safeguarded from overrating of current or from overflow of current. So in order to protect a device from the large amount of heat, a large amount of electrical energy, we are using safety fuses. Always the safety fuses or the fuse wire is connected in series in an electrical circuit. Nowadays, the fuse wires are replaced by tripper switches, commercially called to be MCPs. This is the second application. What is the third application? The third application is electrical furnace. It is a large size electrical heater. That electrical furnaces are mainly used in industries in order to melt a metal or in order to construct alloys or develop alloys. So when large amount of electrical current is used, a large amount of heat energy will be developed in the furnaces. Some of the uses of furnaces are given. See, they are used in the manufacturing of what? They are used in the manufacturing of alloys like steel, silicon carbide, and also what? And also gallium arsenide. Because in order to make alloys, we have to melt metals and we have to join them. For melting of metals, large amount of heat energy is needed. That heat energy will be given from the furnaces. Then the second one, it is used to develop a very large or a very high temperature in the order of 1500 degrees Celsius. If you are using an alloy of molybdenum nichrome wire as the heating element, if you are using carbon rods as the heating element called to be carbon or clamp, the carbon rods can rise the temperature in the order of 3000 degrees Celsius. Then the next one, electric bulb. The electrical bulbs that we are using it in our domestic or used for domestic appliances. Nowadays, these electrical bulbs are banned because they are developing large amount of heat energy than that of light energy. So nowadays, these bulbs are banned in our country. Gundu bulbun solluvom. So when you are considering that bulbs, electrical bulbs, we are saying that bulbs as tungsten filament bulbs. Inside that bulb, you will be having what? You will be having a filament which is acting like the heating coil known as the tungsten. That tungsten is having a very high resistivity and it is also having a high melting point. The melting point of tungsten in the order of 3380 degrees Celsius. When you are supplying electrical current through this tungsten wire, due to its high resistance or high resistivity, it produces a very large temperature. The large temperature can be withstood by the tungsten filament since its melting point is very high. That temperature produces tungsten to incandescence. Incandescence means due to heat energy, that body can able to liberate light energy. That is called to be incandescence. That is what happening in electrical bulb. Due to heat energy, light energy is developed. It was found out that in the supplied electrical energy, only 5% of electrical energy is converted into light energy. 95% of energy is getting converted into heat energy. So since it is responsible for rise in global warming or rise in the temperature of the globe, nowadays this bulb is not utilized or not used in our country. Then apart from this, we can also say this heating effect produces incandescence in discharge tubes, cathode ray oscilloscope, electric welding, electric arc, etc. In all these cases, the thermal effect of electrical current or heating effect of electrical current is used where electrical energy is converted into heat energy. So these are taken to be the applications of what? Applications of the thermal effect of electrical current or heating effect of electrical current. Hope you should have understood that. See, read that problem. An electric heater of resistance 10 ohm. So resistance R equal to 10 ohm is connected to 220 volt power supply. So potential difference is given as 220 volt. Is immersed in water of 1 kilogram. The mass of water is equal to 1 kilogram. How long? So time is asked. How long the electrical heater to be switched on to increase the temperature from? So I am taking the temperature as theta1, 30 degrees Celsius. Then final temperature theta2 as 60 degrees Celsius. The specific heat capacity of water. Specific heat capacity of water S is equal to 4200 kilogram, joule per kilogram per Kelvin. It is given as, it should be joule per kilogram per kilogram per Kelvin. Or I can write like this, J kg power minus 1, K power minus 1. How to determine? See, first of all, let us take like this. Electrical energy is supplied in order to rise the temperature. Okay. We know that according to Joule's law. According to Joule's law, the amount of heat energy developed H is equal to I square into R into T. Take this as equation number 1. See, in this, we have to calculate what? We have to calculate time. Then we should know heat, we should know current, and we should know resistance. Seeing a current illa, so let us calculate the current. But the value of current I is equal to voltage divided by resistance according to Ohm's law. What is voltage? Voltage is 220. What is resistance? Resistance is 10. So current available is 22 amperes. So I have calculated current. How to calculate heat energy? See, for calculating heat energy, they have given this specific heat capacity, then rise in temperature, then mass. See, first of all, I am calculating the amount of heat energy developed in the water. So heat energy developed in water. heat energy developed in water is given by the formula. Developed in water is given by the formula. Either Q or H is equal to M into S into theta. You might have studied this equation in thermodynamics in your 11th standard. Carnot engine, specific heat capacity, in thermodynamics. In thermodynamics, the amount of heat energy absorbed or amount of heat energy evolved by a body is given by the formula ms theta. Here, m is considered to be the mass of the substance. Then S is considered to be specific heat capacity of the substance. Then theta is considered to be change in temperature. Change in temperature. That is theta 2 minus theta 1. Final temperature minus initial temperature. அது யூசுவலா கெல்வின்ல தான் இருக்கணும். கெல்வின்லனா 273 ஆட் பண்ணணும். பட் டிஃபரன்ஸ் எடுக்கும் பொழுது கெல்வின்ல இருந்தாலும் ஒண்ணுதான், செல்சியஸ்ல இருந்தாலும் ஒண்ணுதான், ஒரே வேல்யூ தான் வரும். So here theta can be written as theta 2 minus theta 1. So theta 2 minus theta 1 is 60 minus 30. You will be getting it as what? 30 degree or 30 Kelvin. Difference is 30 Kelvin. Because when you are converting 60 degree Celsius to Kelvin, 60 plus 273 minus 30 plus 273. And subtract panna 30 தான் வரும். So change in temperature is 30. S கொடுத்திருக்காங்க 4200 Kelvin. M கொடுத்திருக்காங்க 1 kg. So you just compare equation 1 and equation 2. Or you do one thing, equate 1 and 2. Equate equation 1 and equation 2. Both the left hand sides are equal. So I can equate right hand sides. So I can write I square R into T is equal to M into S into theta. T veno. I can write M S theta divided by I square into R. Substitute panna. What is your value? T will be then equal to M 1 kilogram. S 4200. Theta 30 divided by I square. I வந்து 22. 22 into 22. Multiplied it with R. R வந்து 10. Or 0 cancel ஆயிடும். So I can write 4200 divided by 22 into 22. It is 484. 484. இங்க ஒரு 3 இருக்கே into 3. So simplify பண்ணிக்கோ. You will be getting the answer in the order of 26.03 second. அப்படின்னு answer வருது. I have used the calculators to simplify. நீங்க simplification பண்ணி போடுங்க. The answer will be 26.03 second as its answer.